Hello and welcome. We are in day 15 of the My Tehillim Time Omer edition, where we are counting up to the excitement of Shavuot. It's so close. We're just a week away. And each day or night, depending on where you're joining us from, we have the opportunity together to delve into another parak of Tehillim and see its connection to the Sefirah for that day. And today, we focus on Yesod. Hello, everyone. My name is Orly Waba. I'm the founder of Abraham's Legacy, where our mission is to create technology that enables us to serve Hashem as one. And the Abraham's Legacy Tehillim app is a unique app created in memory of my grandfather, Avraham ben Polin, alav shalom. It allows people from across the globe to complete books of Tehillim in unison, in real time, and currently in 4 different languages. And with over 1 million chapters of Tehillim read and just shy of 20,000 members, this is truly an incredible community dedicated to connecting further to the power of Tehillim. And the more I get to meet the women that are involved, the more and more I fall in love with each and every one of you. For those that are joining us for the very first time, welcome. It's so good to have you here. And for our regulars, welcome back. Love seeing you here. I want to encourage all of you to take the time, spread the word, to share this program with your friends, with your family. I know we only have 2 events left after this evening, and our finale is going to be on Monday, May 22nd. But if you happen to miss a few along the way, don't worry. All of the talks are recorded. They're all uploaded to our YouTube channel, to our website. The past talk on Monday, unfortunately, I wasn't able to be here, but Jody did a fantastic job in hosting. The talk for Monday is going to be up by tomorrow, so I apologize for the delay in that. Before I introduce tonight's speaker, I just want to thank all of you. I want to thank you for being here live with us. So many of you have been here from the very beginning. It's amazing. We're in day 15. Fantastic. I also want to thank Netillah, the sponsor for this event, and it's going to be part of the raffle that's going to be happening. I want to thank Naomi Jerno, who has been just such an incredible friend and such an incredible colleague working on this together hand in hand. And of course, above all, I want to thank Hashem, the true CEO. I just happen to work for him. So tonight's agenda, here's what's going to happen. First, we're going to hear from our wonderful speaker, Mrs. Chany Rosengarten. She's going to be speaking on the topic of the 3 secrets to a great relationship. And she's going to focus on chapter 148. So feel free to grab your Tehillim book or the app, of course, and you could go to 148. And if you happen to have any questions as she's going to be speaking and inspiring all of us, be sure to list your questions so you'll have the opportunity to ask after the talk. And you don't have to be shy. You can unmute yourself. But of course, you could type it if you rather do that. After the talk, I'm just going to ask all of you to please stay on so that we can wrap up with our exciting and inspiring 6-minute Tehillim read through the Abraham's Legacy app. This is a really unique experience. If you haven't taken part in this, I highly encourage you, take the moment, download the app while I'm doing this introduction, okay? Download the app. It's Abraham's Legacy. It's a free app, and you're going to love to take part. You could download it by searching for Abraham's Legacy on the App Store. There's also going to be a link in the chat. And then after the talk, for 6 minutes, we're going to have the opportunity to complete a book of Tehillim together. That's something amazing. But we need as many of you as possible to participate so we could do that. I'll also be sharing a 1-minute video, and it explains just how easy, how user-friendly Abraham's Legacy is. Just one last announcement, okay? Next Monday, the 22nd, we're going to be holding our grand raffle. It's our finale night, but don't worry, okay? You guys are going to be able to come back. We're going to have more programming. I give you my word on that, and I'll be keeping you updated via the emails of when we have our next event. But we're going to be hosting our grand raffle. You've seen the videos prior to the talks. It's also been in the emails you've been receiving. And the raffle includes copies of books from our speakers. It includes the 100% pure Copper Netillah cup. It includes a free tour of the city of David, of Ir David, and so much more. Also a chapter, a parak in Tehillim that's going to be dedicated to your loved one for the year. This is a tremendous, tremendous thing. So to enter the raffle, you still have a chance to do so. All you need to do is make a minimum donation of $18 to Abraham's Legacy. This is a nonprofit. All of this goes directly towards continuing to build the app and continuing to make it accessible, adding features, very exciting things. You can enter easily also by dedicating a chapter if you want. You can dedicate a chapter for your loved one, whether it's for a refuah shlema, for Lilu Nishmat, Now, what does it mean to dedicate? It's very simple. Basically, when you dedicate a chapter for the week or for the month, your loved one's name is going to appear on that perek for all of the app members to see. That's 20,000 strong. It's a big deal. We're finishing hundreds of books a month. So think of just all of these zechuyot. It's something incredible. Plus, until May 22nd, so until this coming Monday, anybody that dedicates a chapter, you'll automatically be entered into our raffle. You could see the full list of all the raffle prizes, check out the video in the email, and you'll be able to see all of that. The link to donate or to dedicate is abrahamslegacy.com/donate. I'll put it in the chat so you have that as well. And of course, if you have any questions whatsoever about the app, about the events, whatever it is, just to say hello, you can always reach me. I love hearing from you guys. You have no idea. I feel like I've made such incredible friends just from these events. I am so grateful to Hashem for it. You can email me info@abrahamslegacy.com. I answer everything. And of course, you can also send me a message via WhatsApp. All right, so now on to our main attraction. We're not here to hear me speak. We're here to hear our incredible speaker for today, Mrs. Chany Rosengarten. Chany is a #1 Amazon best-selling author. She's a powerful motivational speaker. And she teaches empowerment. She teaches self-care and boundaries in business, in love, in relationships. And her online courses have truly changed the trajectory of many people's lives. So you can learn more by visiting esheschail.org. I'll put the link in there so you know how to spell it. Chany has been kind enough to also generously include her book in the raffle. Her book is titled The Boundary is You, a guide to creating boundaries in your relationships by loving yourself more. It's very, very important. So without further ado, I am excited to welcome Mrs. Chany Rosengarten. Thank you so much for being here, Chany. I love seeing you here.
So good to see you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So we are going to be talking about loving yourself more because we're talking about the 3 secrets to a beautiful, healthy, loving, wonderful relationship. Whether that's in marriage or you can take it to whatever relationship you want, a beautiful, supportive, and loving relationship starts with, this is your first secret, and it is love yourself. We so often think, especially because we're in a relationship, so we're facing the other person and we're thinking that person should love me. I see the other person. I'm not seeing myself because I'm not standing in front of the mirror, right? I know who I am. I'm seeing the other person and I want the other person to love me, to understand me, to accept me, to behave in a way that is peaceful to me and is acceptable to me and is safe to me. And those are all good things, right? And it's fair to want them. And at the same time, we don't have that much control about the people around us as much as we think that we can tell them and we can, go to therapy with them or whatever it is, we can change them. And the truth is that it takes a lot of work, a lot of courage to change. That courage, we can give it to ourselves and we can change. We can love ourselves. We can get the nourishment. We can get the validation. We can get the appreciation, and we can start getting it for ourselves, from ourselves. When we give it to ourselves, the good news is that the other person meets us where we are, right? We're no longer available for interactions that don't serve us anymore, that we used to have to deal with, or we had to fight out inside of ourselves because we somehow felt like, am I deserving of this? Is it true what that person said? And now that we know how to love ourselves, that's what we become available for. We chose the Pedic in Tehillim, which is Kif Mem Ches. And I love this Pedic because it talks about the fact, 148, right? Chapter 148. And it talks about just the fact that the whole world is singing Hashem's praises. Hallelujah Hashem min hashumayim, hallelujah b'amroimim. Let's just sing his praises. And one of the reasons I like it so much is because the truth is that when we're talking about the love for Hashem, the singing for Hashem, the way we start to appreciate our ability to do that is we look at this creation, the first creation, the closest, most intimate creation that Hashem has created, which is us. We have free access to get to know this creation. And there is infinite information and wonderment and amazement that we can get just by observing ourselves, even on a physical level, just on a scientific level of how we are made and how we are able to think and walk and talk, and we are in a neshama living in a gif, and we're alive, right? And getting to know just that, and getting to know our personality, getting to know our wants. When we're in a relationship and we want an intimate relationship, what we really want is to be seen, to be appreciated, to be known. And we get to do that with ourselves, and we get to look at ourselves, and we get to appreciate ourselves, and we get to say, this person, right, with all of her flaws, we do have flaws, and sometimes we spend so much time just berating ourselves and saying, why did I do this? Maybe I'm not a good enough mother, sister, person, human, because I get angry, I get afraid, I get, whatever it is, I don't act in the way that I think that everyone likes that I should behave. Looking at her, just really seeing her and being curious, because the truth is that kol atzmoisa, every single cell in our body is really singing the praises of Hashem. Hashem made us be who we are for us to be an expression of Hashem's will. And so therefore everything that we do and who we are is an expression of Hashem's will. And so we want to get to know that. That's the first creation that we get to know Hashem's wonderment with. But if we're busy rejecting ourselves, and if we're busy saying, well, yeah, Hashem made me, but there are some flaws in me that I better work out, because that's something I can't imagine that Hashem would want in me, right? I don't know, Hashem made it. Now, is there a way to elevate it? For sure. We elevate it by loving it, accepting it, and therefore taking it to the next level. But how do we do it? By loving who we are. The ability to love who we are is our ability to connect with ourselves. And when we connect with ourselves, we are open to connection with others. This is how we form healthy relationships. I loved Pusik in this kapitel, because Rasha says that when it says, we say everything is praising Hashem, right? Min hashemayim and uretz taninim v'chol tohoimes. And we say Iremes v'tzipar kunef, right? We talk about the birds. And Rasha says something interesting. Rasha says that the reason that there are so many beautiful birds created is because Hashem wanted to give pleasure and joy and excitement to human beings. That is why there are birds, beautiful birds, for us, for our pleasure. So if you have the ability to see beautiful birds, you don't have to be good, you don't have to be special, you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to be the type of mother, woman, or anything else that we think that we have to be. You just have to have a pair of eyes to be able to see what Hashem has made for your joy, because Hashem has decided that we're good enough to be here as we are. And in our relationship especially, who we are is who we are, and then we compare ourselves in relationship. Like, am I a good enough wife? Am I a good enough mother? Am I a good enough employee? Because when we get into a relationship, we're measuring against the other person. Hashem is not measuring us against anyone else. Hashem is saying, the way I made you, and here is pleasure. Here is birds to make your life beautiful. Here is your 5 senses to be able to take in all kinds of experiences, stimulation, taste, color, sounds, just for you, because I love you, right? And when we come back to the knowing that even though I have so many expectations of myself, I want to be this and I want to be different, I want so many things for myself, rightfully so, for sure, why not? It's nice to want things because we're growing human beings, right? We always have desire for more. And yet Hashem has made us to be who we are. And so when we come back to that and we say, it's okay to be who I am. It's okay to be the mother I am. It's okay to be the woman I am. And it's okay to be just who I am. It's okay that I am the daughter that I am in the exact circumstances that I am with my limitations. And so if someone wants to connect with me, it's just their privilege to do so. They have the privilege, the joy that one human being has when they connect with another human being. I don't have to create and prepare something other than who I am for them. I am who I am, they get to partake in that and enjoy it. That's the privilege, the joy of human connection. We offer that by coming home to ourselves, being ourselves, and then being kind enough, generous enough, loving enough to let someone else in and say, you want to connect with me? Sure, for sure, right? I'm open to that. I'm willing to share the gift of me being who I am. And this is how healthy relationships get created, because when we're thinking we need to compensate, we're not really ourselves. So they're connecting to an image of who we think we should portray for them, right? It's not really a relationship. It's like this whole construct. When we come back home and we say, you know what, I don't know, there are things about me that I don't like, but clearly Hashem has decided to make me the way I am, and I'm going to work with that. The first thing I'll do is just live with that, right? And I might even take pleasure in that. I might accept that at least. And now, sure, connect with me, right? You're welcome. And they come home to a real person. The connection is real. So that is our first secret. How are we doing as far as going to our next secret? Let's do this really quickly, right? There's something else that I wanted to share here. Oh, okay. This is going to be in our third secret. So let's get through the second one very quickly. Here's the other thing. The other thing is that I wanted to share in terms of relationship is looking towards the other person, right? You're in a relationship and like we want to connect, but it's vulnerable to connect. As human beings, we are afraid. We're afraid of connection. We're afraid of being who we are. We're afraid of being honest. We're afraid of vulnerability. We're afraid of the mistakes we made, the failures, the vulnerability. And it's really good to know that just like we are vulnerable, the other people in our lives are just as vulnerable, because human beings are vulnerable. It's vulnerable to be a human, a person who is really neshama and is really pure light, coming into a physical reality, a physical gift with family, imperfect, just trying to live life, right? It's vulnerable to be human. And so when we're connecting with others, it's really good to know that just like we feel afraid and maybe the need to prove and whatever it is that's coming up for us, the other person is vulnerable too. And what human beings do when we're vulnerable is we put on protections. Our protections look like, I don't need you. Our protections look like anger at you. Our protection looks like oversharing or undersharing, being aloof, or having a hard time connecting. Our protections look like many things. All of these protections are really just layers that we wear so that we don't feel so vulnerable and exposed. I like to compare it to the fact that the world is a harsh world for a neshama. And suppose you go to the Antarctica, which is harsh for us as a weather. It's just so cold. If you were in Antarctica and you wanted to protect yourself against the harsh cold, you would be wearing this giant, thick snowsuit. Now, wearing a snowsuit makes you very clumsy, like you can't move as fast, you can't connect as well. But the reason we wear the snowsuit is because we're so cold. We just want to protect ourselves. It's good to know that in a relationship, because we're just trying to be like, why don't you tell me your feelings? Why don't you tell me what you expect of me? Why don't we connect in an easy and flowing way? Why are you upset, right? Because the other person is afraid, just like we are afraid. And it's good to know that we're just protecting ourselves. And when we know that, we can say, well, what would happen if I take off one layer of protection and I allow myself to remember that under all these layers, it's just a human being who wants connection, who is connected, who is loving, who really deeply is loving. And finally, let's go on to the next one because we are out of time. And there's a beautiful piece here in this kapitel where it says, Yahalali es Hashem, Ki tzivu v'nevrui, right? Let them praise the name of Hashem, for he commanded and they were created. It's very interesting because the Mefarshim say, they expound that Hashem created by saying, right? With a word. Hashem created with a word. And especially in relationships, right? We think that we need to overcompensate and offer and do. You know, let's say the role of a mother, right? So I'll do this for my children and I'll be devoted for them and I'll take them and I'll bring them and I'll buy them and I'll cook them and I'll do for them, right? in marriage also. I'll be there for my husband. I'll do for him whatever. The truth is that creating a good relationship, you don't need to work so hard. Saying is enough. The act of asking for what we want, stating what we want, is very powerful. And we get to just say, sweetie, this is what I'd like. This is what I would really want. This is what I want. Very simply. Asking for what we want, again, it's vulnerable. So we put on these layers where we're like, I'm not going to ask. I'll take care of myself. I'll just do, I'll just do everything. I'll make sure that I do things so that you're happy, so that you will want to make me happy. And the truth is, you don't have to work so hard. You can just say, because when we say, the power of the word is so powerful, it creates realities. If you want something for yourself, doing something as simple as saying, you know what I'd really like? This is what I'd really like. If we're working together in a work relationship, this is what I expect. This is why I'm working. This is what I would want. This is the type of work environment I'd want. Say it. Say it. Takes a lot of courage. But can you say the things that you really, really would like? Because it's almost surprising to us sometimes how by just sharing what we want, we can actually get it, right? It's simple, but it works, right? Just say what you want. And these are the 3 secrets that I wanted to share with you today, because at the cornerstone of a good relationship is loving yourself, really coming to a place where we appreciate and accept and love ourselves. Understanding how we're protected, how our partner in the interaction is protected, and just working with that. Like, we're humans, we're just trying here. And finally, how do we ask? How do we ask for our needs? Because it's actually pretty simple to ask for our needs. It's just that we complicate it. We forget that we get to just say, and that our word has power to create. And these are the 3 steps I wanted to share today. If you want to learn more, I do have the PDF of my book is available on the website that you shared here, that we have here. It's aisheskyle.org. And thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I very much appreciate you being here. And hold on. Oh, there it goes. Let me just get you back on here. There we go. Thank you so much for being here and sharing this wonderful message. I know that we have a few people that have shared some comments, and I agree with you 100%. Words definitely become things, right? Baruch Sha'amar, said it many times. Baruch Sha'amar v'haya ha'olam. How did Hashem create the world? He spoke it. And what is the thing that he gave to us as human beings that make us different than animals? Is the ability of dibur, our ability to speak. Because you understand that the words that we say have the power to create. That's why we have to be so careful with our mouth, right? With our words, because they can create for the good. And, chas v'shalom, they can also create for the bad, because there's a power to them. I also very much connected to what you said about proclaiming your wants. It's not easy to do. I agree. Some of you on here, I don't know, some of you may not have known me back then, but when I first came to Israel, this was a very hard thing. It was a very vulnerable thing to do. The truth is I have to upload it to the YouTube channel because I'm sure it would be very interesting for people to watch. It would probably be interesting for me to watch in hindsight. I'll explain to you what I'm talking about. When I first got to Israel 5 years ago, in the summer of 2018, I decided on Tu B'Av that I was going to do 40 days at the Kotel. It was my first time doing it. I've done it twice since then, once and then another time. It was incredible. I love the Kotel. It's my favorite place in the whole world. And I said, I'm going to do this in the zechut of finding my zivug. What did I decide to do? I wanted to keep myself accountable. This is that's always hard, putting something in place to keep ourselves accountable. And so every day I was going to the Kotel. It was amazing. Every day I was going to the Kotel, doing all my tefillot there. And then at the end, after I finished all my tefillot, I was doing a Facebook Live. And on Facebook Live, okay, this is so hard. I feel like I'm blushing saying it now, okay? On Facebook Live, I was saying, it's day 1 of 40, day 10 of 40. And I'm asking, and I'm here to ask to find my zivug. I'm here to find my match. You know how hard it was to say that? It was like cringe hard, okay? And I was forcing myself to say it every single day. And I didn't know what was going to come out of my mouth. I was sharing about whether it was something that happened to Tefillah. And so many more people started sharing their names and I was praying for them. But why am I telling you this? I did not find my husband from that. But that doesn't mean Hashem didn't plant the seeds. I know he's planted the seeds. I know everything is going to be taken care of. I'm not worried. But when you proclaim what you want, you give it a lot more value. We don't know, because again, there's a lot of behind the scenes situations that Hashem puts in place to get you to that want that you're proclaiming. But when we proclaim it, we give it power. We start to visualize it. We start to imagine it. And so I would start imagining, okay, what is that life going to be? What kind of a person am I going to be in my relationship with my husband, my relationship with my family, the kind of person I'm going to be as a mother? Like I started putting myself into that frame of mind. When we proclaim things, they have the ability to happen. Now, when they happen, that's Hashem. That's Hashem's job. Okay, we don't have a part in that job. He deals with the timing, but it's a tremendous thing, and of course, it requires us to be vulnerable, which is never easy to do. But what you've shared, I believe, is very spot on. There are a couple of comments here that I want to read. Ruti said, we women, because we're very intuitive by God's wiring, tend to think men and children should be able to read our minds. We think people can read our minds just in general. This is exactly right. Say what you want. No one can actually give you what you want unless you say it. So you have to tell Hashem, Hashem knows what I want. But have a relationship. You need to have that you need to proclaim it. The other comment that came through, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this, Jessica shared, she said there's a really fine line between self-acceptance and acceptance of the status quo. We Jews are taught to constantly be moving upward, to constantly be improving ourselves. How do you love yourself and your flaws while adhering to our purpose as Jews? So I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Beautiful question. I appreciate it. It's interesting because we often think that if I will not accept myself, if I will push myself, and how do we push ourselves? We criticize ourselves, we berate ourselves, we expect of ourselves, and we say, no, let's do the thing that we said that we would do, like work on your midas already, and you need to be at the place already where you don't get angry anymore, right? And we tell ourselves these things, and we believe that it would help. The truth is that when we're fighting ourselves to get to a certain place, we're fighting ourselves, right? We need all of ourselves to support us in growing, really. When we are accepting ourselves, we're saying, this is where I am right now. And Hashem made me be this way. I understand. I can give myself compassion. Compassion means I see all of who I am, including the fact that I have desires for more, that I, as a growing person, I want more for myself. I see the pain. I see where it's coming from. I see how painful it is, how deep the struggle is. And I also see where I'm going. I can hold all of it. So accepting ourselves means a high level of acceptance. It means accepting the pain, accepting the in-between between being where we are and where we want to go, and being in that middle of like, you just are where you are. It's vulnerable to be in that middle because we want to already be, the reason we're pushing ourselves is like, grow already, grow, right? And we see all of it, we're able to hold all of it. It's okay to be where we are because we are going somewhere else. And as soon as we're ready to, we will be there. But if we're not there yet, it means we're not ready yet. Gently, we wash ourselves with love and gentleness and acceptance. And from that rain, the sprout just opens up. It has the right place to open up, and Hashem does the rest for us.
I love that. The concept of just not judging ourselves from where we are. Now, again, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't push ourselves. Of course, we need to continuously move forward in terms of growing. It's great to grow, like you said, right? It's great to work on our midot, but to do so in a way that we're not judging ourselves, and where we actually, I always say it's important to celebrate the small wins. I say this to myself too, I have a book about kindness. And you know what and it's broken into 12 categories of kindness. You know what the first one is? It's kindness for yourself. Because I know that that's also the hardship for myself. Generally, people that are giving, it's very hard to give to ourselves, to not judge ourselves. So yes, it's great that we have these goals, but it's important to celebrate the small wins, that as we're taking steps, don't always look ahead to how much more you have to go. Sometimes look behind you to how far you've come. Oh my goodness, I have so much more to grow. That's only going to make you feel, it's only going to put you down. And it's going to make you actually stop before you even get started, because it's going to feel like an impossible thing to carry. But if you celebrate the small wins, then suddenly you open yourself up to much bigger wins, because again, it's so slow and steady wins the race. Jessica also mentioned here, she said, I've always had that issue when I determine the areas in which I want to improve and the actions that I want to take to improve my flaws, I tend to judge myself and find myself lacking, which is why I need to improve. It's really hard not to judge yourself when you're evaluating what you need to do to move forward, to do teshuvah. 100%. Of course, it's difficult, but I think like you said, it has to be coming from that positive place. We know how we want to grow. We provide ourselves with small attainable goals, because if we have small goals, that means we have the ability to celebrate those small wins. The goal can't be, like let's say it's with Lashon Hara. I'm never going to speak Lashon Hara again. It's very nice. It's wonderful. I'm never going to say anything negative ever again. Fantastic. Okay. You're going to feel terrible in another half an hour. Okay. So instead of doing that, if you make a small, tiny goal and you actually achieve it, now you could celebrate that win, and then you can add to it. So I always tell people, once you create a small goal, try to keep that goal over the course of a couple of weeks. Try to be consistent for 3 weeks. 21 days takes to incorporate a habit. After those 21 days, increase the goal. Move it up. If it's too big and you haven't been able to consistently do it, make it smaller. It means you made it too big. But of course, we have to continue moving forward. I want to thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us, sharing such an important lesson of loving ourselves, singing Hashem's praises. How can we sing Hashem's praises? We just look at the mirror. Once we come to love ourselves, we actually come to appreciate Hashem so much more. The more we actually get to know who we are, well, wow, Hashem, we can love Hashem more. The more we love ourselves, the easier it is to love other people with their flaws as well, because we all have flaws, that's for sure. So don't go anywhere, everyone. We're going to jump into our Tehillim read. I want to thank you again, Chany, for being here. So grab your cell phones if you have it, a smartphone. If you don't have it, don't worry, you're not excluded. Grab a Tehillim book or open up your heart. Just speak from your heart to Hashem. We're going to engage in a Tehillim read. Chany, I don't know if you have the Abraham's Legacy app. It's very exciting. We're going to do this together. Okay, well, how many people? We have 38 people on, guys. If it was 36 minutes, we could finish a whole book. We could do it. But we need as many people to join as possible. So I'm going to show you a quick short video that explains exactly what we're going to do. And then we're going to join in together. Here we go. On behalf of Abraham's Legacy, we are excited to lead you in a Tehillim reading, where each and every one of us, from wherever we are in the world, can easily join in and complete a book of Tehillim in unison within minutes through a very special app called Abraham's Legacy, Tehillim Together, in memory of Avraham ben Polin. To be part of the global Tehillim read happening now, download Abraham's Legacy on your mobile device from the App Store, available for iOS and Android. You can also scan this QR code with your phone. To scan a QR code, simply open the camera on your phone and hold it up to this image. A link will appear on top, which you can click, and it will direct you to download the app. I'll give you all a moment to download the app. Sign in, and in a minute, we will all click on the Start Reading button on the main screen, and each of us will receive a different perek from the Sefer of Tehillim so that we can complete the book and add to the global count. In the top right corner, you can click the icon to switch your language if you like. You'll also be able to see in real time the amount of people reading and countries reading. Don't forget, you'll need to confirm that you've completed the chapter. Let's put a few minutes on the clock to read in unison so that we can unleash the power of our combined tefillah. Tizku l'mitzvot.
ריח הקרבות עוד באוויר, המייב חובש פצעיו, יושב סופר ימיו, צעקות בושה בכל העיר. דור רוצה תשובה עכשיו, זכאי ולא חייב. בגוף עייף מכישלונות, בלב שבור לחתיכות, מחכה לך שתקבל פנינו. לך קראנו בלילות, ועוד נצעק ברחובות, רחם עלינו אבא הושיענו, הושיענו. זמן עובר כולם ממהרים, דור מחיש את פעמיו, רוצה הכל עכשיו, שמש בשמיים אפורים, עם בארץ אבותיו, נלחם עוד על חייו. בגוף עייף מכישלונות, בלב שבור לחתיכות, מחכה לך שתקבל פנינו. לך קראנו בלילות, ועוד נצעק ברחובות, רחם עלינו אבא הושיענו, הושיענו.
הלב שלי נקרא לשניים, מה שלא ראתה שפחה למים, כמו סופה מן הים עולה, כמו טופה של מרים פועם, ואין תרופה בעולם. הלב שלי מרים ידיים, כבר מועד לא עומד על הרגליים, שבר כלי שאין בו כבר מה, והשמיים הם בלי חומה, איך אעבור בתוך הים ביבשה, ורק אתה יכול להפוך מספדי למחול, לזכך את החול, לרכך בי הכל, ורק אתה מבין איך לגשת ללב שלי, משכך כל כאב שבי, מרפא את הלב. הלב שלי נקרא לשניים, חציו השם וחציו לשם שמיים, כמו סופה מן הים עולה, כמו טופה של מרים פועם, ואין תרופה בעולם ללב. ורק אתה יכול להפוך מספדי למחול, את החול, לרכך בי הכל, ורק אתה מבין איך לגשת ללב שלי, משכך כל כאב שבי, מרפא את הלב. ויש אוצר שמציק לצאן, ואין ציר שיצעק לצור, רק אני מול ים שלם ולב שבור, ורק אתה יכול להפוך מספדי למחול, לזכך את החול, לרכך בי הכל, ורק אתה מבין איך לגשת ללב שלי, משכך כל כאב שבי, מרפא את הלב, ורק אתה יכול להפוך מספדי למחול, לזכך את החול, לקדש בי הכל, ורק אתה מבין.
And you can go ahead and you can complete the chapter that you're on. We finished the Sefer, of course. We're now in another Sefer. We're up to around chapter 40 or so. Absolutely fantastic. You can use this all the time. I want to actually share a couple things. First of all, I had an idea. I have to share it with you. Maybe some of you will be interested. One thing, number one, that I wanted to share is I had a couple of schools reach out to me just recently, because perhaps some of you are connected with schools or with groups that you would want to do this with. And they're incorporating a Tehillim program in their school. And in the app, you have the ability to create a circle, okay? And when you create a circle, it has a little icon. So they're creating a circle for their school with their school logo. It's the official circle for their school. And they're having a program at the end going into the summer where the kids are going to be able to be on there. And there's a leaderboard of who's read the most daily and weekly. And then they're going to be giving each of the students a Tehillim book and then giving them a prize for who's read the most Tehillim over the course of the summer. I'm also going to be giving a talk to the school via Zoom because they're in the US and I'm in Israel. So something I want to offer, if anybody here is connected with a school that would want their students to be involved in reading Tehillim and getting that excitement from, because again, when we accomplish small goals, like what we could see, wow, look at how many Tehillim I've read. That's incredible. It makes us feel really good. Plus, we're connecting with people from all over the world. So if anybody is interested, just know I myself will be happy to get the students excited about the app, about utilizing it and creating a circle for their school. This is free. This is just a service that's provided to be able to help connect the younger generation to the power of Tehillim. This is absolutely amazing. Tehillim is absolutely incredible. What an amazing resource it is. So I just wanted to mention that. I also, Ruthie said, we're almost at 800,000 chapters. It's true. We're at over 1 million throughout the app, but in the global read, we're almost at 800,000 chapters. That's it. I can't wait for that date to happen. It's going to be very exciting. And then we're going to get to 1 million in the global read. It's going to be incredible. And we could do that with each and every one of us. So it's quite an accomplishment. And I want to thank all of you for being a part of this. I want to open it up, first of all, before I share this idea, because I'm going to end the live. And if anybody wants to stay on, I'm going to share this idea with you that came to my mind as I was reading Tehillim, so I have to share it. But if anybody wants to share something right now, feel free to mute yourself and I'd love to hear from you. You're more than welcome to. You don't have to. You don't have to feel pressure to. But if not, I want to be able to at least thank Chany again for being here. And Chany, is there anything else that you would like to add? I want to give you just a chance before we end for this evening.
Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for having me. This experience of Tehillim is so powerful. The app is so beautiful. I wish it was available on the computer as well.
Bezrat Hashem, you don't understand. This has been my dream to get it on the computer since I created it. It's a little bit of an expensive venture. Nothing is expensive for Hashem, but I didn't find the check under my pillow yet. I don't know. Maybe he's going to send it tomorrow. I'm sure he's working. He's doing his magic. I just don't know what he's doing yet. But Bezrat Hashem, that is the goal. It is the goal to be able to do that. And it is my goal one day, okay, one day. And it's going to be, you guys are the one, we started this together with this incredible group. Like I'm looking at some of the faces here. That day that's going to come when we're going to click here and we're going to see 100,000 people at the same time, 200, it's going to happen. You know how I know? Because I'm proclaiming it to happen. So it's going to happen, right, Chany? Exactly, right? We're proclaiming. So I'm proclaiming. I want to have over a million Jews from around the world reading in unison. That's pretty incredible.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so thank you. I mean, being part of something so powerful, being part of a group that's saying this together, you can see how everyone's doing it together. It's such a powerful unity. Thank you so much. And you know, I know you asked about a story around Tehillim and marriage, and there are many different small stories that come to mind, which all bring me to the same conclusion of the power of prayer, right? We spoke about the power of asking in a marriage, asking with our employees, asking in our relationships, just saying what we want, and saying to Hashem. And especially with the beautiful power of Tehillim, right? We have the power of the group that we have here, the whole Klal Yisrael coming together on this app and saying Tehillim together, and just the power of Tehillim itself, because David HaMelech is saying Tehillim together with us. The power of asking for what we want. I've seen this so many times where, you know, a woman comes into my program and within a very short time, her marriage changes and it becomes a whole different relationship. And what a lot of women have told me was, you know, the thing is that coming into my programs is like, it's so random. It's so random who would find me. It's not random. It's Hashem, right? It's like, how would you find me? How would you know? How would you take the courage to trust and actually take a step and actually give yourself these programs that I have? And what women often tell me is, I davened, I begged Hashem, there must be a better way. And Hashem sent this to me, right? And so this comes to me so often that I see that Hashem leads us down the path that we have said that we want. And we have the support to do that. We have the Tehillim. We have all of these women saying Tehillim together. We have the opportunity to just reach out to Hashem and say, this is what I want. This is what I'd really like. And Hashem has the most amazing and wondrous ways to just bring it all together. So thank you so much, Orly, for putting this together and creating this wonderful app.
Thank you again for being here. For those that want to hear this idea, please stay on. It's going to be very, very short, but let me just wrap up for us on live and just remember everyone, right? When tefillah, what does it do? Yes, it changes us. And when we change, our whole world changes. So thank you all for being here. I hope to see you again tomorrow. We have an incredible speaker, Mrs. Yafit Atlas, talking about the legacy of Malchut and Tehillim Chapter 18, Yud Chet, the only parak in Tanakh and Tehillim. So hope to see you then. Have a great night. Take care.